Hello everyone, and welcome back to Steel Forest Welding and Forge. Today, my friends, I have a product review for you. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing, setup, and demonstration of this Lincoln Electric Mini Fume extractor. The model number for this guy is K3972-3. Now the reason I bought this guy is I currently use flux core on my wire feed welder. And I work in a small garage, small shop, low ceilings, and it just quickly fills up with smoke while I'm welding. The additives or the flux used in flux core is absolutely horrible for your health. You do not want to be breathing it in. The only option that I had was to open the window above my welder, my garage door, and turn on a fan at full blast. And as you can see, it's quite cold in here. It's February in Wisconsin, so it's still pretty darn cold out. So I bought this guy to help prevent me dying from some horrible lung cancer many years down the road. So let's go ahead and unbox it and get this puppy rolling. I am pretty pumped to see how this guy works. So first of all, when this thing came in the mail, I did not realize how big it was going to be. It was between this model and a model done by Grizzly and a model done by Ace. Now, Grizzly tools, they have some good tools, they have some bad tools. The reviews I read of Grizzly tools on the Grizzly tool fume extractor was not that great. The Ace one had good reviews, but it's not a company that I really recognize. Lincoln Electric, everyone knows who they are, everyone knows how good their products are. So right away, we have an instruction manual. And this is just some cardboard filling. Looks like this is the extraction hose. Looks like here's the main unit. Oh boy, this thing's big. And, not gonna lie, that is quite heavy. Look at that. That thing is gorgeous. It does have a set of wheels. That is very nice. This thing is fairly heavy. Let's wheel this back over here. Okay, it does have 110 power supply. I did check that before I bought it. That is a beefy cord. That's nice. I like that. Now, the strange thing about these units is they have a couple of different filters. They have a pre-filter, which is the filter you generally change fairly often. The main filter, which is this entire housing down here. And then I believe one more like exhaust filter. This filter in of itself is $200. So keep that in mind if you decide to buy one of these units. Now, the filters are supposed to last for a long time. However, that's typically for solid core MIG wire. I do use flux core, so it'll probably get a little bit dirtier a little quicker. So I'll probably be changing the pre-filter fairly often. Let's go ahead and look at the extraction tube over here. And I do have a metal nozzle with a bell-shaped fitting on the end on the way from Amazon. That came separate from this unit. Okay, that is definitely not your typical vacuum cleaner hose. That thing is definitely beefy. It has a little bit of memory to it, some flex. It is not metallic, it is some kind of plastic. Let's see, that guy goes down right there. All right. Up here we have a couple different options. Looks like filter check, manual and auto, low and high. Well, I'll tell you guys what, let's go ahead and plug it in the right way and just see what it sounds like. All right, she's plugged in. and nothing. Aha! That's the high setting. That's off. There's the low setting. So there you go. Basically sounds like a powerful shop vac. That's not super loud, but it's not quiet either. A lot of the larger fume extractors tend to be a little bit more on the quiet side, but it's a little guy. You know, you get what you pay for, which is a lot. By the way, this thing costs a lot. This little sucker is $1,500. So keep that in mind when you do choose to invest in a wire welder and you need some kind of fume extraction. Now you could blow your welding fumes outside, but you are releasing those fumes into the atmosphere. Now, on a small scale, like if you're just a hobby welder, you maybe weld like once every couple months, not a big deal. But I am a professional. I am in this garage, usually welding fairly heavily every weekend. It doesn't feel right for me to be just pumping those fumes, especially from a flux core welder, just out into the air. So that's why I bought this. One, for my health. Two, just to be more environmentally friendly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read through the instruction manual. Then we'll go ahead and do a demonstration of this guy, as well as a comparison welding without the fume extractor on and with the fume extractor on. Here is my shop after running just a couple tiny little beads. As you can see, it's pretty smoky. I mean, all I did was weld these standoffs onto this tube. Not a whole lot of welding, maybe only 5 minutes worth, and it's definitely hazy in here. I have to open my doors and turn on a fan. Otherwise, I'm going to be huffing this toxic crap. So we have everything set up to do some welding. Currently, the fume extractor is on the automatic setting. Now, according to the instructions, if you loop your work cable through this copper fitting up here, it should turn this extractor on automatically once it senses current going through your work cable or your welding cable. And then it will stay on for a few seconds afterwards. So we're going to go ahead and tack some of these standoffs on for my stoves, and we're going to see if this does in fact kick on. There it goes. It looks like the automatic setting works. Very nice. I like that. And it should turn off after a few seconds. There you go. That's a nice little feature. I like that a lot. All right. I'll get these tacked up, then we'll do some welding, and then we can see how well this thing does at extracting the fumes. So let's see how good of a job this thing does actually extracting the fumes while I weld. Now mind you, I have this set very close to my part. So let's see how it looks. Looks to me like that is just sucking absolutely all the fumes out. It's working really nice. I'm going to adjust my welder here really quick. Here is a view of my shop after just finishing up those welds. A little bit messy, but as you can see, there is almost no smoke in here at all compared to what there was before. There is a little bit, but not much. So, big, big difference. I can smell the difference in the air too. The air smells a lot cleaner. So let's go ahead and continue with the review. We're going to go ahead, take this guy apart, look at its guts, and I'm also going to explain a little bit about cleaning this unit according to the instructions. So first, take these clips off right here on the side. Take this top unit off and set this aside. Now we're going to take out what is called the long life filter. This is the main filter of this unit. This guy right here by itself, excuse me, costs around $200 to replace. So this is not a filter that you replace on a regular basis. This filter is supposed to last around 750 operating hours of light duty welding work. So we'll go ahead and set this aside. As you can see, virtually nothing in it from the welding I did today. Now we're going to take out, this is called the pre-filter. This is the filter that you change on a much more regular basis. As you can see, there is a little bit of soot in there. You can tap some of that, and it comes out. And it's also surrounded by this seal. This seal is the main seal for this unit, so we want to make sure you don't lose that. Then in here, we have the collecting pan. This guy you want to empty out on a semi-regular basis. The instructions recommend cleaning it out once a month. As you can see, there is a little bit of dust in there, not a whole lot. But we're just going to dump this out straight into the trash. Just like that. And then I'm going to take a clean rag and just wipe it out really quick. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and put the pre-filter back on. Put on the long life filter. And reinstall the top unit. Put the side clips back on. And we're ready to go again. One more thing to note, there is a HEPA filter on the back here as well, behind this unit. I'm not going to go ahead and take that out, there's really no need. But again, the HEPA filter is something you change on a somewhat more regular basis than your long life filter. This is the one that you hardly change. As I said before, this little sucker here is $200. While as the pre-filter and the HEPA filter, I believe they are more in the $50 range. So if you want to extend the life of this guy, make sure you change those out on a somewhat more regular basis. There's one more feature on this extractor I would like to discuss, and that is the check filter status. Now that is a feature you do not find on a lot of other extractors. Most extractors, you just simply turn them on and turn them off, and that is it. What this feature is good for is checking the status of your long life filter. So let's say you've been running this for a while, you're getting close to that 750 hours, and you may need to use this in a confined space. You want to make sure that that filter status is good. So you can run this system check, and it will tell you if your filter is good or if it should be replaced. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn this on. And on the top here, I'm going to hold down the high-low button for about 10 seconds. The system then should shut off, and then I will push and hold the filter button for 5 seconds, and the unit should turn back on, run high for 5 seconds, and if there are any issues with the filter, there should be a blinking LED that should turn off. If the LED turns off, the filter is good. If the blinking light stays on, the filter is bad. Now obviously I've only had this extractor for a couple days and I've only welded with it once, so it should be just fine. But let's go ahead and try this guy out. So it's going to get kind of loud in here for a second. Push and hold the high-low button. There we go. Had to push it and then release it. Now I hold the filter check button for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now it should be running through its filter check. And as you can see up there, no blinking LED lights. So this guy is ready to go. Before I wrap this review up, there is one more additional accessory I would like to discuss, and that is this extraction nozzle. Now this nozzle is not included with the unit itself. This is a separate purchase. This little guy here runs $150. It has this nice magnetic mount, which as you can see I had mounted to my table, and a flexible metal hose. So you have this nice metal flexible part here that is not going to burn up if you're sucking down hot sparks, and this flared nozzle here in the end. I can tell you right now, you are not going to be able to suck up the same quantity of fumes and dust with just this end as you would with this end. So while this does add a little bit of price to the entire unit, I mean, the unit itself is $1,500. $150 on top of that really isn't much, and I can tell you right now, it is going to be a huge benefit. I'm going to be mounting a magnetic plate on my wall eventually, where I can position this magnet anywhere over my welding table. One problem with the extractor unit is that if you're welding on something like tubing, which I do on a regular basis, you have smoke coming from both your weld puddle and exiting the chimney of like my rocket stoves. So I am missing some of the fumes. If I were to place this over my welding fumes, I could probably extract both of those. So again, this is not included, but I do highly recommend purchasing it along with your extractor. So here are my final thoughts on this extractor. This has been probably one of the most important purchases I have made so far. Now for those who may not be professionals in the welding field, if you've ever been around a shop and you see the old timers, almost all of them have 2 or 3 things in common. One, almost all of them have thick glasses, almost all of them have hearing aids, and all of them have a resting tremor. That resting tremor is from years and years of heavy metal poisoning from welding. When you weld, you create a fume and a plume of smoke. In that smoke, there are lots of heavy metals. Breathing that in over the course of years will slowly poison your body to the point where you will develop a resting tremor. So this is why proper airflow in a shop and proper fume extraction is so important. Now for the hobbyist that maybe does just a little bit of welding every once in a while in their garage, you can probably get away with just doing your welding outside if you're using flux core welding and you're keeping your head outside of the plume of smoke. If, however, like me, you are a professional, you do this on a regular basis, you really want to make sure you invest in a fume extractor. It is going to be an insurance policy for your health many years down the road. I want to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle at her wedding. I don't want to have to be a picture next to the cake. So that's why I invested into this unit. Now as far as the unit itself goes, I love it. There are a couple of bells and whistles on here you won't get with a more streamlined fume extractor, for example. As I mentioned before, most of these guys, it's simply turn on, turn off, replace the filters, that's it. This has a high-low setting. It has the automatic start function, which will help increase the longevity of the carbon brushes on this unit. It also has the filter check feature, so that way you're not guessing if your filter is good or not. It is small and compact. It can fit within tight spaces. In fact, this guy is probably designed with enclosed spaces in mind. Now, if you're going to be welding in enclosed spaces, that is a whole nother mess with a whole bunch of OSHA regulations and rules. That is meant solely for professionals, not the weekend welder. Myself, I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't have the proper training for confined space welding, so don't do it. I highly recommend getting this extraction nozzle. As I mentioned before, I am certain it helps pick up a lot more of the fumes and the particles that are produced when welding. Just this hose here alone is not going to cut it. And also I like the magnetic feature on here as well. Positioning it on my work table anywhere I like is something I really like. So if you guys are in the market for a fume extractor, you don't want to break the bank with some of the larger units, you can go with the smaller compact units by Lincoln Electric. I really like this unit. Lincoln Electric did a fantastic job, and I am so happy that I bought it. So folks, that wraps up today's video. Thank you so much for watching. As of me producing this video, I believe we're about to break that 450 subscribers mark, which is fantastic. So please, folks, please keep sharing these videos. Please keep liking these videos. Please keep subscribing. The closer we get to those 1,000 subscriptions, the closer I can get to monetizing these videos. When that happens, I will be investing any money that I make on these YouTube videos towards making better videos. That'll be better audio equipment, better lighting, better whatever I need to make these videos better for you fine folks. So, thank you for watching today, folks. Work hard and stay humble.